In the beginning years of the Andy Griffith Show, the writers and Andy tried to find him a girlfriend that would fit into the show. Um, they had terrible luck with their choices, at least in their minds. They did. I think in a lot of the viewers' minds, they seemed okay. Andy said that they had trouble writing for him because he was so uncomfortable in a romantic setting. They finally hit the jackpot with Annette Crusoe, or Helen Crump, as we all know her. But there were quite a few unsuccessful tries prior to her. And surprisingly, a bunch of them were in the medical field. There was Eleanor Donahue, who played Miss Ellie. She was a pharmacist. And then there was Sue Ann Langdon. She played Mary Simpson. Mary was a nurse. Barney even tried to get Lydia Crosswaite to hook up with Andy, and that didn't work. The other girlfriend that lasted for 4 episodes was Joanna Moore, also known as Peg. And that's what this video is about. Joanna Moore was born Dorothy Cook in 1934 in Americus, Georgia. In 1941, when she was 7 years old, her parents and her sister were involved in a car accident. And her mother and her sister died immediately, and the father died about a year later. She went on to live with her grandmother after that, and then her grandmother couldn't take care of her, I guess because she was older. And she was adopted by a wealthy family, and she kind of changed her name to her middle name, which is Joanna. As she got to be a teen, she married and quickly divorced a guy named Willis Moore. She married him in 1951. And after the divorce, she attended Agnes Scott College in Decatur, Georgia. And while she was attending the college there, she entered a beauty contest. And that beauty contest is what brought her to Hollywood. She began her career at Universal Studios after she was spotted at a cocktail party. Also, during the early 60s, she became basically deaf and could hear almost nothing, and actually learned to lip read just so she could understand what people were saying. She had surgery in 1962 that corrected the hearing problem, and she was able to hear as normal. She went on to star in a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies. She was trying to get into movies at a time when movies were kind of dwindling and it was going towards more TV. But she was in Touch of Evil, an Orson Welles project in 1958. She was in 1962. She was in A Walk on the Wild Side. And one of her most notable times is she was in the show Follow That Dream with Elvis Presley. And she was also in Route 66, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Rifleman, a lot of those TV shows. And then in 1963, she gets a 4-episode gig with the Andy Griffith Show. I always thought she just did an exceptional job on that show. And her voice, in one episode she sings, and her voice is just charming. About the same time, in 1963, she married Ryan O'Neal, and the couple had 2 children, Tatum O'Neal and Griffin O'Neal. That marriage was a troubled one from the start, and the couple separated in 1966, and in February 1967, the divorce became final. In 1975, she married a roofing contractor in L.A. Named Gary Reeves, and they divorced 2 years later in 1977. Around the time of her separation from O'Neill, she began to abuse alcohol and drugs. She got on amphetamines and became really addicted to amphetamines. I think she was always abusing alcohol. From what I can read, that was kind of a crutch for her, and she smoked a lot of cigarettes. Finally, in 1970, she kind of crashed and burned and admitted herself to a state hospital in California for psychiatric treatment. The next year, she was arrested for drunk driving after she got into an argument with O'Neill, and she actually lost custody of her children. In the 80s, she was arrested 5 times for DUI. And you can see in a few pictures of her during the 80s, late 70s and early 80s, she's not very healthy. By the late 1970s, she was basically supported by her daughter, Tatum, and Tatum was an Academy Award-winning actress at the time, and she was one of the highest paid child stars of that era. She continued to abuse drugs and alcohol, and in 1996, being a lifelong smoker, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. And on October 22nd, 1997, she died from the disease. Supposedly, Tatum was at her side. She initially was interred at Hillside Memorial Park in Redlands, California, but her family moved her to Oak Grove Cemetery in her hometown of Americus. What a beautiful and talented lady that led such a sad and troubled life. Rest in peace, Peg. You brought smiles to many Mayberry fans. Thank you so much for watching.